My name's Andy Moore. I'm the captain of Radial Games. We make Fantasic Contraption in cooperation with Northway Games.
What's it been like working with Oculus and the Oculus touch controls?
It's pretty rad. I mean, our game requires kind of a hand presence in a game, so having the touch controllers is a requirement, and it's great. It fulfills that requirement, so we're really happy with it.
Now, being as non-biased as possible, because I know where we are right now, what are some of the key differences between the developing it for the Vive and the Oculus?
Well, the Vive is like, it's a year old now.
It's old news.
Yeah, it's old news. No, I mean, they're very different. The Oculus hand controllers are, the touch controllers are, they should rename it the hand controller. Yeah, the hand controls. They fit a bit more ergonomically into the hands, and they're really going for a hand presence thing. Even their SDKs have like hand meshes, whereas the Vive is aiming more for a tool. Like you pick up a wand, you pick up a tool, and you work with that. And that leads to different design considerations. So they're different, but they're both equally technically effective. We just have to play to the strengths of each platform.
Was it easier to develop for the Vive or Oculus?
We use Unity, and it was literally a drop-down to switch between them. so it's awesome. It's really easy to work between all the different platforms. I will say, though, that the Vive by default has a room scale setup. The Oculus by default has a forward-facing standing setup. So we had to redesign the default settings of the game and configure it in different ways for the different platforms. So we did invent new stuff for the Oculus build because the Oculus requirements are different than the Vive requirements.
So, for someone who doesn't know what Fantasic Contraption is all about, kind of give a brief description of what you do in the game.
Sure. Fantasic Contraption is a physics-based building game where you solve puzzles. So the easiest way to describe it is you just need to get a ball from point A to point B, but you're not allowed to touch the ball. You have to build a machine that moves the ball for you.
Do you think this game could help kids and gamers become engineers?
Definitely. The game was originally based on a 2D version of the game we did almost 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And that version of the game was featured in elementary schools to teach kids cause and effect, basic physics, things like that, like learning levers and pulleys and all those kinds of things. So we're really excited about the educational possibilities for it. And we're looking into that as more schools are getting the budgets to buy VR headsets and things like that, but it's still too new to explore that. Our biggest concern is the last game was really popular for elementary school kids, and I don't think the Oculus fits on the heads of elementary school kids. So
I'm not giving a $600 piece of equipment to a 11-year-old.
Yeah, right? Right? Yeah. It won't really work out too well for you.
So I have to ask now, when you were a kid, did you play with erector sets at all? Do you remember erector sets?
Oh, yeah, I did Tinker Toys. Same thing, right?
Legos, Lego blocks.
Yeah, Tinker Toys. And I did a lot of Lego, and I did Lego Mindstorms as soon as that came out, and I love building things, and I love creating things with my hands. And it's just such an awesome feeling to build something and then see it come to life.
So what are the challenges when creating these puzzles and making solutions for them?
Well, it's really hard because it's a brand new design space. Like, it's really hard to figure out, what lesson do we want to teach the player next? And we really built the whole game to be a tutorial to teach you the possibilities of what you can do. So like the first few levels, you build a car, and if you only get through the first few levels, you think, oh, this game is just about building cars. But that's not it, because the next level, we put the goal up high so that a car won't hit it, right? So, and then we encourage you to build a catapult, and then we encourage you to build something like that walks, and then there's a whole bunch of different incredible designs that you can make in this game, and we try to guide you with level design to try to create each one of those things.
Since you've been on both sides of the coin, I have to ask you these types of questions, but how was it like working with Steam VR and then going over on the Oculus side and working with them?
It's very different between the two companies. I like working with both of them for different reasons. So Valve feels like it's a bunch of like my indie buddy developers, and I can go over and have a beer and kick my feet up on the coffee table and talk straight about everything. When I go to Oculus, it feels like a professional operation with all the bureaucracy that comes with that. You have to submit invoices and blah, 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 right? There's business stuff to do, but it makes me feel like a grown-up, and they're really nice to me, so it feels really good. And that leads to Oculus has a lot of resources at their disposal where they're able to set up all of this, interview, the booth, everything, without me even knowing about it, and they just took care of it all. Whereas I would have to have a much bigger hand in that with Valve, because they don't have like layers of bureaucracy to manage that for them.
So like kind of like Apple and Android, right?
Similar, I guess. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Android. Yeah, not really
Not-
similar.
for non-developers, if they had to get a relation to, I guess Google Play and Apple Store, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe. Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah.
So when does this game come out for Oculus Touch?
Yeah, our game is fully compatible with every platform that has hands.
I have hands.
Yeah. So the day it becomes available, I think that was announced this morning.
December 6th.
Right? Okay, great. It's not a secret anymore.
So December 6th, 2016, you can play Fantasic Contraption with an Oculus, but in the meantime, you can play it on the Vive right now.
That's true. When we release the Oculus version, it will have different modes. We have a seated mode and a standing mode that are available in the Oculus edition. Vive is right now room standing only, and we're launching a level editor before then. So we'll have a whole bunch of new features that are only going to be available in December. They'll be available on all platforms, but if you go play it right now, you won't be getting the full experience.